Hello, Helldivers. Are you a new recruit with nothing but a Liberator and a machine gun, yet yearning to get your hands on the latest and greatest tools Managed Democracy has to offer? Or maybe you're on a budget and don't have the disposable income to drop your hard-earned cash on some cold hard super credits? You found the right video. I'm going to show you the most efficient way to get all the super credits and war bond medals you'll ever need, going from a fresh recruit to being kitted out with all the freedom's blessings without spending anything but time and less than you'd think. There are 23 war bonds available in Helldivers 2. Helldivers Mobilize is included for all players from the get-go, and if you splurge and purchase the Super Citizens Edition, you also get one war bond token to unlock the premium war bond of your choice. Each war bond costs 1,000 super credits, except for the legendary Halo ODST and Killzone war bonds, which are 1,500 super credits. There are also armor sets, weapons, and cosmetic items in the Superstore, with prices ranging from 35 to 400 super credits. Super credits can be purchased in different bundles from $2 for 150 or up to $100 for 13,000. If you want everything, you're looking at over $300, and that's a lot to shell out. After super credits to buy war bonds, you need war bond medals to actually unlock the equipment you want. These are rewards for completing missions, and the harder the difficulty completed, the more medals you get. When just starting out, it can take a while to get a substantial amount of medals. Lucky for us, Arrowhead is kind enough to allow both super credits and medals to be found in missions at places of interest, or POIs, scattered across the map, even in trivial difficulty. Super credits can also be purchased with medals in the war bonds, with 750 available in Helldivers Mobilize, and 300 in each of the others, excluding the 2 legendary war bonds, which contain 0. The first thing to cover is what farming looks like. There are basically 3 versions, one for below level 25, one with a buddy, and one for 25 plus. For all 3 versions, planet selection is important. You want a relatively flat, obstacle-free planet. Desert planets like Fact Bay, moon planets like Terek, and ice planets like Heath are good examples. Avoid forested planets. The trees and water are annoying obstacles and slow you down significantly. Below 25, you're going to need to gain XP and collect common samples and requisition slips along with the super credits and medals. XP is needed to level up in order to gain access to stratagems. Common samples are needed to unlock upgrades for your super destroyer, and requisition slips are needed to unlock stratagems that you've gained access to. The early runs go like this. Drop into a trivial mission, call down a resupply for the extra stems, as well as anything else you brought into your loadout, like your support weapon. Complete your primary objective quickly, then run a circle around the outside edges of the map looking for rescue pod beacons and cargo containers, grabbing the loot at the POIs. Use an explosive, like a grenade, to open the cargo containers. Watch out for question marks on your compass. They identify POIs when they're close. Once you've completed a loop, extract from the mission. The quickest mission types are upload escape pod data and terminate illegal broadcast. These can be completed with minimal effort. Avoid spread democracy, activate oil pumps, and eliminate target missions as they take longer. If the right mission types aren't showing up, you can drop in and immediately return to the ship to get a new set of missions to choose from, or just go ahead and do the mission anyway if you're not in a rush. The buddy version is the same as before, but you bring a friend. You'll have 2 advantages. First, you can split up and cover the map faster. Second, you'll be able to get into bunkers. The bunkers contain 3 items instead of the 2 in the cargo container or the 1 in the rescue pod. Later on, you won't need a buddy to get into the bunkers. You don't need a buddy to farm successfully, but it helps. You can also drop into public trivial missions with suspiciously high level players and ask if they're farming. They're usually more than happy to help out since everyone benefits from the extra diver. Be aware, they're not likely going to complete the mission and return to the ship when they're done. Medals, requisition slips, and super credits go into your account when they're picked up. There's no need to extract to collect them, and those high-level players don't need XP and common samples most of the time. Above level 25, you don't need to level up anymore to get access to stratagems, so your strategy changes. You drop in and do a loop as before, but ignore the mission objective. Once your loop is completed, return to your ship. Rinse and repeat. You can buddy up for these 2. The next thing we're going to cover is your loadout, and what to buy first. The priority for farming credits and medals is speed. The first piece of the puzzle is wearing light armor. On the first page of Helldivers Mobilize is the SC-34 Infiltrator set. This is your first medal purchase, and you'll be using it for a while. You've got about 70% of the armor as the B-01 Tactical you start with, but that's fine because you won't be getting into very many fights. As you go through the war bonds, you'll be able to unlock other, faster armors with added benefits, but this is the best to start with. Keep working through Helldivers Mobilize and grabbing upgrades and super credits as you go, until you're able to purchase one of the war bonds mentioned later. On page 7 in Helldivers Mobilize, there are two very useful items. The Stamina Enhancement Booster lets you sprint for longer periods and increases stamina regeneration, and the SC30 Trailblazer Scout Armor is faster than the Infiltrator Armor and makes you harder to detect by enemies. Once you hit level 5 and have 4,000 requisition slips, pick up the LAS-98 laser cannon and add it to your loadout. This will blow the doors off the cargo containers and clear fences out of your way in no time flat. No need to rely on your grenades anymore, and if you run into a patrol, it'll make short work of it. The next thing you'll want to work towards adding to your loadout is the Lift 850 Jump Pack. This comes available at level 8 for 6,000 requisition slips. You should be able to afford this pretty easily. This gives you a huge boost to mobility, cutting down your time farming significantly, and it lets you avoid any fights. You might trip every once in a while, but that's a small price to pay. Once you've got 1,000 super credits, or if you purchase the Super Citizen Edition, you can unlock your first war bond. For farming, your first choice should be Control Group. When it comes to farming, this is the best war bond for one very specific reason: the Lift 182 Warp Pack. Not only does it move you around the map faster than the Jump Pack, which this will replace in your loadout, you can also get into bunkers solo by diving into the door and warping mid-dive. With recent updates to the game, you can come across as many as 3 bunkers on a single trivial map. The Warp Pack is on the last page of the war bond, but it's worth every medal you spend to get there. Your next war bond to unlock is Democratic Detonation. In many people's opinion, the best overall war bond in the game. The first page doesn't have anything for farming, except for the super credits, but on page 2 you can unlock the CE07 Demolition Specialist armor set, which is faster than the Infiltrator and lets you carry 2 additional grenades. If you already have the laser cannon and Trailblazer Scout armor, this might not be worth grabbing unless you need to spend the medals to get to the next page. On page 2 and 3 you've got 3 weapons that will open up the cargo containers without needing a grenade or the laser cannon: the Eruptor on page 2 and the Grenade Pistol and Crossbow on page 3. Get to the crossbow as the priority. Lots of ammo, easy to use, fires quickly, and it's very effective overall. You can drop the laser cannon from your loadout after you have one of these weapons, so you'll save the time it takes to call it down. The last war bond I recommend from a farming perspective is Exo Experts. On page 1 is the O3 Free Spirit Light Armor with the Oxygenator passive. This substantially increases your movement speed when running and walking, making getting around the map even quicker. Even when you're out of stamina, you still move at a pretty good clip. Once you hit level 25, you can unlock the final stratagem that makes farming way quicker: the Fast Recon Vehicle, or FRV, for 25,000 requisition slips. This is a sweet ass dune buggy with a heavy machine gun on the back that rocks around the map faster than anything else in the game. It takes a little getting used to the steering, and it can be finicky at times, but once you learn to control it, there's no better way to run your loop. A couple tips when using the FRV are to avoid warping towards the FRV, as you can pretty easily explode yourself or pop a tire, making it even more difficult to drive. If a tire pops, especially a rear one, you're probably better off heading out on foot since it becomes a pain to steer. If you flip it, a couple shots from your crossbow can set it back on its wheels. Just don't hit the tires. If you find the FRV hard to control, shift down to second gear to make steering more manageable. Don't forget the parking brake. On even a small slope, this bastard will roll away from you. Before getting out, hit spacebar on PC, square on PS5, or A on Xbox to set the handbrake. If it looks like the FRV is going to do a rollover when driving, holding the handbrake will often right the vehicle before it completely flips. You can also do sick cookies and 180s with the handbrake once you get the hang of it. And that's it. Once you've got everything mentioned, your loadout should look like this: O3 Free Spirit Light Armor, Crossbow, Warp Pack, and FRV with the Stamina Enhancement Booster. Everything else is up to you. I personally like to bring the gas grenades and sentries for my open stratagem and grenade slots in case enemy reinforcements come in, then I just toss those out and keep on trucking. Your secondary weapon doesn't really matter, but I carry the grenade pistol out of habit. Now for a few miscellaneous tips I've got from my time farming credits and medals. After your first mission, you can find POIs on your map by moving the cursor around over it. Once you finish your loop, scrub the map in areas that don't have POIs to see if you missed any before you return to the ship or extract. On these specific POIs, aim at the rocky outcrop above the cargo containers with your crossbow to prevent the explosive canisters from detonating and spreading fire across the area and blocking entry to the container. For terminate illegal broadcast missions, hit the tower with a grenade or explosive weapon to complete the objective immediately. Feel free to up the difficulty. On easy and medium, there are more POIs, and you may come across a LiDAR station that will show where all POIs are on the map, making finding them that much easier. They'll take a little longer sometimes, but if you bring a friend or find fellow farmers, you'll clear through them fast enough. When you drop in, your stratagem call down should go in order of resupply, FRV, warp pack, and laser cannon if you're still using it. This way they all come down around the same time. If you are on foot and running out of stamina, pop a stim to keep going at full speed. Stims are pretty common to find at the POIs to restock. Lastly, don't forget to play the actual game, otherwise what's the point of getting all the new shiny stuff? I hope you found this guide useful. I followed this method across multiple accounts for one reason or another and have managed to unlock nearly everything pretty quickly by farming for an hour here or there. If you have your own tips and tricks for farming for your war bonds, drop them in the comments below. Until next time, now go out and spread some liberty.